Hello and welcome to Latin Percussion for the Consummate Learner. I'm Nolan Guisewhite and I'm here at beautiful Anderson Gardens today to teach you about Latin percussion for the Consummate Learner. You know, a funny thing about Latin instruments is people usually think they originated in Latin America. That's partially true as they were popularized there, but they were invented in ancient times by the ancient Romans who spoke Latin. In 50 BC, the first Latin beats were invented, and ever since then, all of mankind has been enjoying them worldwide. Now, the first instrument I'm going to teach you about is the tambourine. Now, you are most assuredly familiar with the tambourine from the popular mariachi folk song, Signor Tamburino, which was, of course, translated to English by Bob Dylan in the 1960s. When you first get your tambourine, your brand new tambourine, you may notice that it's too tense. It needs to be loosened up a bit. So you might try putting a bit of oil on it or placing it between the pages of a heavy book, after which it should be nice and loose, just like this. Now, how you play the tambourine is often a matter of preference. There's no real official way. You can strike it thusly, or like so, or even with the knee. All are perfectly valid. I'd like you to practice 100 times and see what method works best for you. Remember to try for accuracy and speed, as the most valued tambourinists are those who can play the tambourine most quickly. However, perhaps even more important than the tambourine strike is the tambourine shake, which must be performed thusly. 2 fingers around the lip and the thumb on the drum of the tambourine. Then shake left to right, left to right. Once you've practiced it enough, let's say 100 times, you'll be able to do it almost this quickly. A master tambourinist can hold up a tambourine shake for over 45 minutes. If you'd like to know more about playing the tambourine at a masterful level, pick up my video, Advanced Tambourine for the Consummate Learner. Now, the next instrument I'm going to show you is almost impossible to play without the accompaniment of a classical guitar. So if you have a friend who plays, you'll certainly want to get them to come over and help you, as it will ease things up for you a great deal. The next thing I'm going to be showing you is, of course, the Cabassa. Now, the Cabassa is a funny instrument. It was actually invented for the illiterate, as the Cabassa can be played with almost no knowledge of musical notation, unlike most percussion instruments, which can be very complex. All you need to know is how to do this. And in order to do that, all you need to know how to read is the word shake. Though some master Cabassaists have taken to performing more precise maneuvers, such as moving one roll of beads at a time. But that's a bit advanced. Now, you may have seen famed Cape Verde musician Homero Fonseca play the Cabassa like this, above the head. This is, of course, exciting to watch, and it is traditional, but it's not necessary. It does nothing for the tone, and you may find that it can become very tiring. So, if you're planning on having a marathon Cabassa session, you might not want to try that. Now, while it's not necessary for amateurs, once you've become a master, you'll probably want to hold the Cabassa perfectly level, like this, and play it thusly. Indeed, this is a valued skill in concert Cabassaists. You might want to try balancing a glass of water on top of the Cabassa to ensure that you have it perfectly level. If you'd like to learn more about the Cabassa, you can of course check out my video, Advanced Cabassa for the Consummate Learner. Now, this next instrument you may have heard of through hip-hop, punk rock, or even heavy metal. But the humble bongo drum has always been with us through the magic of Latin music. Now, the bongo is not one instrument, but actually two instruments fused together by a wooden shaft. Thus, it actually takes twice the effort to master. Now, some true masters of the art of Latin music play bongo drums that have more than two fused together. In fact, the longest string of bongo drums on record was over a mile long and was played by Jose Sanchez, who unfortunately died of heat stroke while trying to outplay a drum machine. A modern-day John Henry if there ever was one. Now, when you start off with the bongos, you'll want to try playing it with just two fingers at first, like this. And once you become familiar with that, you can move on to 3 fingers. Then 4, and finally 5. Masters cover the whole drum with their open palms, and some of them play very large drums indeed. Now, when you play the bongos, you'll want to remember always to alternate between the drums. Never play one drum twice in a row like this, which is considered brash and sounds awful, frankly. No, you'll want to alternate between them like this, which sounds beautiful to my ears. Now I want you to practice this 200 times, because there are 2 drums on the bongo. If you'd like to learn more about playing the bongo drums at an advanced level, of course you can pick up my videotape, Bongo Drums Advanced for the Consummate Learner. That's all I have for Lesson 4. In Lesson 5, we'll be learning how to use the trumpet as a percussion instrument rather than as a brass instrument, which should be very exciting.